Namaskar and welcome to Sansad Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our show Perspective, where we bring you detailed analysis of key national and international issues. Today we're going to talk about the issue and challenges of air pollution. Now, air quality in Delhi-NCR is deteriorating with each passing day and it continues to remain in the severe category. Air pollution in the national capital and NCR region has been severely affecting people's health, especially elderly and the children. And this problem, however, is not just limited to the NCR region. According to the National Air Quality Index, several major and small towns in the country are in the poor to severe category when it comes to air pollution. According to latest assessment by the Center for Science and Environment, that is CSC, when pollution concentration from all sources local, NCR and beyond are added, Delhi's vehicle accounts for nearly 17% of the total PM 2.5 concentration. However, vehicles' daily share of pollution from local sources varied between 49.3% and 53% during the week of Diwali this year. Delhi-NCR region is most troubled by air pollution at the onset of winter season, with stubble burning accounting for at least one-third of the air pollutants. Various steps have been taken in the past for monitoring and management of air quality and for reducing air pollution as well. But has this been enough? Are these steps implemented properly? And what more needs to be done to tackle this particular serious challenge? For more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts. Let me first introduce them to you. Beginning with, we have Mr. Vivek Chattopadhyay, who's joining us. He's Senior Program Manager, Clean Air and Sustainable Mobility with the Center for Science and Environment. Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal is also with us, ex-Additional Director, Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB. And Urmi Goswami, Senior Journalist looking at environmental issues, is also with us today. Welcome, all of you, to Sansad Television. I'll begin with you, Urmi. And, we've done this year after year. It's like a return of a festive season followed by this choking feeling in the national capital region. But it's not just NCR.
No, it's not just NCR. It's actually the whole country. It's just that in the NCR region, you feel it the most, or we talk about it the most. But it is true that air quality across the country is poor, and frankly, in most parts of our country, the air quality don't even match the national standards, which are less strict than the WHO standards. So air quality is a national issue. It depends on which geography you're in, because geographical conditions actually exacerbate the problem, like we see in the Indo-Gangetic Plain in the NCR, where its geographic location, wind factor, temperature actually makes matters worse. But it's true, you go down, to Bangalore, you'll have the same issue. You'll go down to other parts of India, the same issue. Maybe if you're in the coastal area, because of sea breeze, it again is different. You feel it differently, but air quality remains poor across the country. So it's a national issue. And that is why you have the government and the plan, the National Clean Air Action Plan, which really looks at the entire country. Mm-hmm. So there is a plan in place. It's just, I think part of the problem is that a plan is made, it takes time to put it into action. Maybe the actions are not enough because the problem itself is evolving and becoming bigger. Okay. So that is one of the reasons, one of the things that we have to remember, that the problem is not it's not stationary. It's also an evolving problem. Okay. And therefore, the situation becomes more complex as it goes every year. Okay. But yes, there is a national conversation. Much more of the national conversation needs to happen. But again, air quality is local, regional, and a national problem. Okay. Dr. Agarwal, would you agree with these two aspects there, that the issue of air quality is a national issue? It's not just limited to a particular city or a particular region. Maybe perhaps in different months, in different weeks, different time period in a particular area, some areas might face this problem. That is one. And second, as Urmi was pointing out, there are plans in place, but still we face the same situation year after year after year.
Yeah, you are right. But I slightly differ from the madam's perspective, because my scientific perspective is that, because I have worked quite a long time, more than 25 years, 40 years during my 40 years tenure in CPCB. What I observed that because I was dealing the national air quality system also, I was wondering little this time is too much air pollution is probably due to higher severe concentration of air pollution is due to the burning of biomass, and burning of biomass is happening in starting from Haryana and then Punjab and Delhi also, outskirts of Delhi.
Hmm.
But more firing, more fires are there in the Punjab. This time, I just 3 4 days ago, I have seen that in social media and other places that huge amount of burning is going on. So what we have done earlier, I think 30, almost 20 years ago, we used to get the NASA pictures also, and we have proved it scientifically that the dust which is coming, basically this is the period of winter, and due to winter, the inversion due to inversion and mixing height, less mixing height, the pollutants are remain there and smoke is remain there. What is happening in the daytime, this is basically when the if mixing height will go little higher due to temperature,
Hmm.
the pollutants will disperse, and then ultimately they will travel a longer time, means longer way. So this is a one of the true. I always says earlier also mentioned that the pollution problem is all over in India, but it is more severe due to the season, due to the this inversion and
Okay.
mixing height and the winter season, and more it is just like become a dust chamber.
Hmm.
And you can see there pictures, so many pictures visibly. You This is very very clear. And not only we have taken the action, we have national level taken the action. That NCAP is there. We have taken a lot of actions. We have given solution to farmers, and I think so many things we have done. Even air quality management, the Commission for Air Quality Management, we have established, and then everybody is working very hard. But I don't understand why this time is so much. This is basically the scientifically we can say that the huge amount of burning, biomass burning, and
Hmm.
due to that, in winter season, this is the biggest problem.
Okay. Mr. Chattopadhyay, a recent study by CSC, which has been, quoted by major media outlets as well, clearly point out that during this particular period, stubble burning or, the burning of biomass contributes around 30% to the air pollution in Delhi-NCR region. But at the same time, your study also points out that vehicular pollution accounts for almost 50% to the local sources of pollution. So what do we understand here? As in vehicular pollution, can we infer that vehicle pollution continues to remain a larger contributor to the air pollution throughout the year, but during this period, it becomes more severe because of an additional source of biomass burning?
There are definitely scientific studies have shown that some sources are consistent throughout the year, like vehicles, industries, power plants. These remain a major contributor throughout the year. One additional source that we see during the winter time is the massive biomass burning, and if you look at the entire winter data, that about one quarter of PM 2.5 is contributed from biomass burning. So certainly it's an added phenomena. Dust contribution reduces since the wind speed is very slow. In summertime, wind-blown dust contribution becomes higher. So this time of the year, during the winter months, PM 2.5 concentration has higher share of combustion sources like burning of different particles as well as fossil fuel sources. So that is the reason it becomes very toxic during this period, and also the dispersion doesn't take place. Pollutants do not move out of the city for a longer period of time and other places, and that's the reason we are suffering. And I think unless until we take very concrete measures to reduce the air pollution since the beginning of the year,
Hmm.
we won't be able to see a difference during the winter, because any measure that you take during the winter shows small improvement. It cannot show improvement unless until we take drastic steps
Okay.
throughout the year.
Okay. We'll come to that part only where you've left Mr. Chattopadhyay, and I'd like to bring in Urmi. Urmi, talking about what is being done and also what needs to be done, because there is NCAP, there's a Central Commission for Monitoring Air Quality. As far as Delhi NCR is concerned, GRAP system is already in place, wherein graded actions are taken depending upon what the quality of air is. But those are sort of steps which look like on the outside of it, as in we are trying to cover up after what has happened. What do we do in terms of, or what is being done in terms of ensuring that we do not achieve or do not reach this particular kind of situation in this period, specifically when the climatic conditions are very conducive to, heightening of air pollution, or anytime throughout the year as well?
So, when it comes to responses, I think it would be good if we can separate them out into two buckets. One is reactive and the other being proactive. When you talk about GRAP and the measures being taken, they're reactive. A situation, the air quality reaches a certain severity and certain measures come into place. The good news is that now you have actually a very good mapping. So the moment the AQI reaches a certain level, certain measures come into place, and so on and so forth. So the reactive is kind of mapped out pretty well. But the problem is, as you rightly pointed out, is that we keep relying on the reactive measures, and the proactive measures which are happening are not happening at the pace that they need to happen. Now, what do I mean by proactive measures? So you mentioned everybody talks about burning of a crop residue. Now, it is not. It is true that the central government has been sitting with the state governments trying to work out what can be done to the biomass, what other options are there. But getting that plan into actually working it to scale is taking a lot more time than it should. And the problem, again, is not a stationary problem. Every year it happens. This year, Punjab has a higher sort of acreage under paddy, 12.5, I think, or 12.6% higher than before. So obviously, the amount of residue to be burnt is commensurately high. So you have that problem. Now, are you being able to put those proactive measures into place at the speed that they require? That is where the problem is. Vehicular pollution. You see for the first time actually some limited conversation happening of people saying, perhaps public transport needs to be augmented. Now the question is public transport being augmented at that same level? Because when you go out, you see the roads are filled with private or vehicles carrying 1 to maximum 3 people. So the vehicular congestion has grown up, which basically means emissions from cars, vehicular emissions are higher, and there you have that problem again. This is where the greater amount of attention needs to go. What kind of proactive measures are we taking? Perhaps the time has come to actually think, saying that, okay, in the NCR region, there shall be no construction activity possible between X time in the year, say from 1st September till 1st March. And that is the way it's going to be, because we have realized that this period, we don't need to add more pollution load. Mm-hmm. And we should restrict doing all the construction in the summer months when actually the geographical conditions are such that wind pattern moves, wind speed is such, temperatures are high, so the dispersal is better. Winter is not the conducive time. Okay. That is where I think much more emphasis needs to happen in the proactive measures that have to be taken. Okay. The fact of the matter is that we need to have a sea change in our thinking. Are we not thinking? That's not true. We are. I mean, everybody mentioned about the NCAP, the commission. But the speed at which we're thinking and the speed at which we're implementing has to be far, far greater than it is. Okay. Dr. Agarwal, do you agree with that aspect there, that, in terms of reactive measures, we seem to be doing fine? We're reacting very quickly to the situation as it worsens or, improves on a daily basis during this particular period. But it's about the proactive measures at the end of the day. We will have to ensure that the situation does not reach an alarming level at a particular time period in the year when it does year after year.
Yes, I fully agree with the Madam Urmi, because what she has mentioned, this is my experience for many, many years. We basically, you see, this is the time now because the November month is on, and what is happening that as I mentioned earlier, this is the biggest time of the mixing height and other pollutants. What basically the pollutants which are generating from the various sources, it is as remain as, but there are some adding of the pollution. Adding pollution means from the some you see watershed is one, and adding pollution from the other sites, other areas is also contributing a lot. And due to the temperature reason of temperature, this has become a dust chamber, and I think situation become very worsen now. I think maybe the smoke formation will be there. There is a reaction will going on, and then after some time 18 degree, when the temperature become 18 degree, there will be a smoke formation. So this chemical reaction will go on, and it's very difficult situation. It's just like a London smoke situation 1952, when many people have died. So I think we should be very careful. We should be um, uh, we should be very proactive on this particular aspect, and I think we should move fast to take action. Although Commission for Air Quality Management is taking a lot of drastic actions, and then GRAP is also implementing, but still we need to do something. I think extra, suppose we should concentrate on the pollution from vehicle. We should concentrate on biomass burning, and thirdly, we should concentrate on dust from the coming from the paved side of the roads. So
Okay.
these three things at least we can take. So at least we can cover 50% pollution. We can drastically reduce from the source. So I think this is the high time now. We should control the pollution at the source.
Okay, okay.
This is my suggestion.
Vivek, local sources, when we are talking about vehicular pollution, as your study also shows, accounts for around 50%. So in terms of dealing with that aspect, although there is a lot of focus on e-mobility, ensuring that, public transport should be further augmented, we seem to be lacking somewhere in these proactive measures in terms of, keeping up with the need of the hour. So what more can be done there?
I think we have to augment the quality and quantity of the public transport availability and connectivity across the Delhi and NCR region. And I would say regional connectivity also has to be improved a lot, because although we are investing very high on expressways, highways, road infrastructure, flyovers, but that similar kind of investments are not happening towards public transport improvement. And if you look at the condition of footpaths, walkways, or cycle tracks, those are almost non-existent. For any city to be a world-class city, uh, uh, it doesn't mean that we have to have bridges and flyovers and expressways only. We have to have good quality public transport. We need to have better footpaths. Cyclists should be able to use the bicycles. Non-motorized transport, electric mobility definitely should be there, and we have to augment their numbers. Other countries have augmented the electric vehicles share in very large numbers, like European countries, even China also, because vehicular pollution we won't be able to deal with the way the numbers are increasing. The numbers are galloping in the sense. All the roads are filled with cars and two-wheelers, and because of lack of connectivity of public transport in NCR and other cities, and since the development is happening, urban sprawl is happening, townships and households are set up far away, and people have to travel for commuting, for work, for other things, and they are depending on private transport. This is not a sustainable model. Whether we talk about climate change impacts, reducing carbon dioxide, or local pollutants, this is not a sustainable thing that we are doing in Delhi
Okay.
and other places. So I think Government of India as well as the state governments have to invest a lot on public transport improvement, improving the walking and cycling facilities, and making the cities more livable in
Okay.
that regard.
Okay.
At the same time, augmenting the electric mobility.
Okay, okay. Urmi, you earlier spoke about the construction activities, and that, of course, is a very major contributor to the local sources of air pollution. But the largest one is vehicular pollution, as all of you have been pointing out, and as Vivek was referring to, more focus on e-mobility, more focus on augmenting public transport and not just, putting the infrastructure in place, but as well, and it's just not limited to the government. Perhaps, the common citizen, people like you and me who reside in these areas will also have to take the onus and the responsibility of taking one step forward and utilizing these facilities and demanding more.
Well, yes, it's a chicken and egg problem, right? Because if you and I want to use public transport to get to our workplaces, we'll be challenged in many ways. So the question really comes of getting all stakeholders to actually have this conversation. And it's not just e-mobility, let's start by aggregating mobility. So if we aggregate our mobility needs, even with what we have, so whether the electric buses, because we now have a lot more electric buses, CNG buses, trains, metro, if you bring all of it together, we should be able to have an integrated system which is seamless, which allows you to move from one to the other so that we can get to our, to meet our mobility needs. What do you need for a good public transport system? It should be accessible, it should be predictable, and it should be affordable. And these are the things that governments need to sit down and work on. I think making mass public transport, integrated mass public transport, the cornerstone of any conversation is critical. As Vivek mentioned, it's both for air pollution needs, also for climatic needs, also for resource utilization. We need to encourage the way we use our vehicles. So do we really need to take our cars out for a trip that's within a kilometer or two, which we could walk? But if you can walk, then when you start walking, you realize that the pavements are not there, or they're being taken over, or they're dirty. So basically, it is really, it comes back to all levels of government, but also all government agencies working together. Now, what can we do as citizens? Is where we should take those efforts, but also make ourselves heard. We are pretty good at making ourselves heard when we want to. So why is it that this issue we are not able to make ourselves heard? We need to demand better, whether it's better mass public transport, better clearing of waste, because very often you will see waste. We spoke about biomass burning, which also includes stubble burning and also garbage burning. So we need to be able to be pushing on all directions. Again, on the agriculture side, as I said, the central government has been taking steps, but those steps are going to take longer to put in place. Perhaps we need to start rethinking whether we need to cultivate paddy in Punjab. Maybe we should be cultivating paddy in Jharkhand, Bihar, or Bengal. So we need to have this much larger conversation.
Okay.
The NCAP provides us that place to have that conversation. And as I said, citizens too need to do their bit.
Okay.
We need to demand more and use whatever facilities we have to demand more.
Okay, indeed, there it is. Thank you so much, Urmi, Dr. Agarwal, and Vivek as well for sharing your views and insights. As our experts were pointing out, the choking feeling which everybody in the Delhi-NCR region is dealing with right now, along with various other major cities across the country, it is the air pollution, and we've contributed a lot to it ourselves in various ways. Now, to deal with this challenge, as our panelists pointed out, we will need to have a holistic approach in terms of all stakeholders coming together, working at all levels to try and find the solutions in terms of e-mobility, in terms of aggregated solutions to the transport issue, and various other aspects along with the burning of biomass. We as citizens will also have to take our own steps to contribute in any way which we can to tackle this problem of air pollution. We'll come back again with a different topic. Till then, keep watching Sansad Television. Thank you.